Porn and erotica have always been of interest to a large section of humanity, although it might not have been spoken as openly as it should be with the evolution of the societal standards and the cultural tolerance levels. Today we discuss pornography, erotica, and related subjects, especially the evolution of such things. In doing so, my research, I have included various articles that are in the encyclopedia like the Britannica, as also some scholarly articles written by both Bertrand Russell as well as Gore Vidal, renowned essayists of our time. Porn or pornography is defined as representation of sexual behavior in books, pictures, statues, films, and other media that is intended to cause excitement. Is there any difference between erotica and porn? Some amount of explicit sexual publication is transported to a higher standard called erotica, giving it a connotation of artistic portrayal as well as portrayal of religious and cultural beliefs. Pornography, as I told, could be highly cultural and could be having a highly sociological connotation. Temple arts of Khajuraho and Konark, which portrayed lot of intimate scenes, advanced for its time themes such as animal sex, group sex, divine sex, curative sex, were considered pornographic by foreign travelers who visited during that part, and their sensibilities were shocked by the standards of Indian erotica and Indian portrayal of temple art. Philosophically, many of these temple arts were portrayed and justified logically by telling that these were ways to prevent non-serious people to get inside the sanctum sanctorum as they get glued onto whatever is in the outside art. Where did pornography originate? Actually, pornography came from two distinct words. The first one is porni, which is a Greek word. It means of or related to prostitutes. And second one is another Greek word called graphian or graphein, which means that to write. So when it originated, it was known as a work of art or literature that dealt with the life of prostitutes. Being subjective, its history is very difficult to actually delineate. The cultural sensitivities often defined sexual explicit publication, whether they were art, they were cultural, they were sociological, or they were titillating. Some Hollywood movies and intimate bedroom scenes and intimate sexual scenes could be an absolute taboo in conservative societies, especially in the Muslim countries, but they are quite okay in the Western civilization. In many historical societies, fiction of sexual behavior in a religious context was tolerated. In ancient Greece and Rome, for instance, phallic imagery and depiction of scenes of intimacy were widely present. In India also, in Eastern cultures also, display of the phallic power, combined power of romantic union, was part of a lot of art and erotic manuals. Roman poet Ovid, he wrote a book called Ars Amatoria, or The Art of Love, which is a treatise on seduction, intrigue, sexual arousal. Predominant theme of medieval pornography was the sexual depravity that was present amongst the monks and other clerics. Japan was one of the early adopters of publication of porn and erotica. Elaborate depiction of sexual intimacy, sexual intercourse in what we call the pillow pictures of 17th century in Japan. Those are known as makurai, and they were intended to entertain as well as to adorn the private bedrooms of the rich and the wealthy. Prints and artists such as Suzuki Haranobu, who lived from 1725 to 1770, have achieved worldwide recognition as genuine art forms, although sexually explicit. The advent of the printing press promoted creation and distribution in a wider scale of pornographic works. Elements of humor justifying the publication of sexually explicit material. Treatment of the joys and sorrows of marital deception and infidelity were often depicted. Modern history of Western pornography, which is today the main source of pornography across the world, was probably in 18th century when the printing technology made next advancements, where plates were used to print pictures. Originally, this smut capital or the erotic capital was known to be Paris, the French capital. Pornography became a powerful vehicle also for social and political protest. It was a vehicle for exploration of daring ideas. In the year 1837, when Queen Victoria came to power, there were about 50 pornographic shops in the Holywell Street of London. There were two groups, the Victorian groups and the modern groups, and modern groups tolerating pornography and sexually voyeuristic material to be published more and more. Photography, which came in the 19th century, the development in the 1920s of video cassettes and digital video cassettes in the 1990s, and the internet later on, took pornography and the pornographic industry, which is known as smut industry, to its next thing. And today it is considered a multi-billion, if not a trillion-dollar industry. The access and the players have all been corporatized and formalized, except for probably child pornography. Increasingly, courts are recognizing that watching porn or erotica or reading erotic literature is a private affair of its citizen. Gore Vidal says porn industry is a result of two critical things which were playing out. Economically, it required governments to prescribe a minimum age for marriage. And culturally, before marriage, sex is generally prohibited. So when the sexual maturity happens in young adults, till the legal age of marriage, there is a void of sexual desire being at the highest level, the need to experimentation being biological, but societies and economies not permitting it. The erotica and the porn industry was probably feeding the self-indulgence that was required biologically by the younger generation. Pornography as an existing, thriving, growing, and sometimes influencing factor in sociology cannot be ignored. We will have to look at how the newer thoughts and the newer realities and some of the absolute taboos, such as child pornography, which are dangerous to society, have to be prohibited. The awareness of the history will also enable us to decide for ourselves what is the real choice that we have before us. Thank you very much.